All right, let's just jump right in because honestly, I'm kind of mad no one told me this stuff earlier in my career. We're about to go through a set of ideas that will completely change how you think about progress, about productivity, and about success. So if you've ever felt like you're just spinning your wheels, this one's for you.
So let me ask you something, and I want you to be really honest with yourself here. Are you busy or are you productive? We all have those days, right? Maybe even entire weeks where we are slammed from the second we wake up till our head hits the pillow. But at the end of it all, do you feel like you've actually moved the needle on what really matters? We have this bad habit of mistaking activity for accomplishment. And yeah, this is really the heart of the issue. The hard truth, based on the insights we're digging into today, is that a huge chunk, maybe a staggering 80% of what you do every day isn't actually driving you forward. It feels productive, sure, but it's really just a sneaky form of procrastination. So, let's break down how to fix that, starting right now. Okay, so our first step is learning how to separate what is absolutely critical from what's just, well, loud. This whole section is about reclaiming your focus in a world that feels like it's designed to steal it from you. This whole idea, this powerful framework, it actually comes from watching Steve Jobs. He had this incredible, almost superhuman ability to tell the difference between the signal, that handful of tasks that were absolutely crucial to his mission, and the noise, which was, literally everything else fighting for his attention. And when you break it down, the difference is just, it's night and day, right? The signal is your core mission for the day. These are the non-negotiables. The noise, that's all the reactive stuff. The endless pings, the meetings that definitely could have been an email, and all the tasks that are really serving someone else's agenda more than your own. And get this, we even have a ratio for it. Shark Tank's Kevin O'Leary, who actually worked with Jobs, said this was his secret formula. For most of us, though, we have it completely backward. We spend 80% of our day drowning in noise and then hope we can find 20% for the signal. The entire goal here is to flip that upside down. So this is the really tough part. This is what trips everybody up. True focus isn't just about ignoring obvious distractions. It's about the painful sacrifice of saying no to genuinely good ideas. As Apple's legendary designer Jony Ive puts it, it's this intense, deliberate act of prioritizing your one true signal above all else. Okay, so how do you actually do this, like today? It's super simple. You just start with a 2-column list. In the first column, signal. You've got to be absolutely ruthless. Keep it short. Just your most vital, mission-critical tasks. Then, in the second column, noise. You dump everything else. Your only job for the day is to execute on that signal list. Everything in the noise column, you either delegate it, automate it, or just plain ignore it. Okay, so once we've got our own focus dialed in, how does this apply to, building something new? This next idea is so counterintuitive, but it's crucial for building a business, a project, or even a personal brand. It's all about focusing on the right signal at the very beginning. It all comes from this legendary essay by Paul Graham. So many of us think we need these big, automated, scalable systems right from day one, but that is a huge mistake. The most successful companies on the planet, they all started by doing things that were completely manual and took up a ton of time. A perfect example, Airbnb. Their first listings had just awful photos, and it was killing user trust. Now, a scalable solution might have been to build some fancy AI photo checker. Instead, the founders literally went knocking on doors, camera in hand, to take professional photos themselves. It was totally unscalable, but it solved the core problem and gave them priceless feedback from their first users. Or how about Facebook? We think of it as this unstoppable giant, but how did it start? Mark Zuckerberg didn't launch some massive ad campaign. He literally walked around the Harvard campus and personally convinced his fellow students to sign up, one by one. I mean, you can't get more unscalable than that, but that's how he got from 0 users to his first 100. And just one more to really drive this home, Stripe, the payment company that's everywhere now. In the very beginning, if a customer had trouble installing their software, the founders would literally go to their office and install it for them. That kind of hands-on approach built incredible loyalty and helped them perfect their product. So the takeaway is simple. Solve your first customer's problems manually. You can worry about scaling way, way later.
All right, so you found your signal. You're doing unscalable things. But what happens when some of those things just don't work? How do you keep innovating? Well, that brings us to our third big idea. Adopting a mindset where experimentation and failure isn't just accepted, it's actually required. This quote from Jeff Bezos just flips the whole idea of failure on its head. He basically argued that the biggest risk a company can take is not taking enough risks. In a world that's changing this fast, the only way to stay ahead is to constantly be trying new things, knowing full well that most of them are going to crash and burn.
And there's actually a kind of math to this madness. Think of it like the 1 in 10 rule. Amazon had massive failures, like the Fire Phone, which cost them hundreds of millions. But they also had one absolutely wild success with Amazon Web Services, or AWS. That single 1 in 10 home run paid for all the other failures combined and then some.
So you got to change your whole relationship with failure. It's not a dead end. It's not the end of the story. It's just data. The faster you can run experiments and fail, the faster you learn. And in today's world, the person or the company that learns the fastest wins. It really is that simple.
Okay, so if learning the fastest is the name of the game, how do we speed that up? How do we get better, faster? This brings us to our final strategic piece of the puzzle, building a feedback loop to turn all those experiments and all that data into consistent, real improvement. The whole process is actually super simple, but almost everyone messes up one critical step. You produce something, you publish it, and then what? You just move on to the next thing? The absolute key is step 3. Pay attention. You have to dive deep into the data, into the feedback to really understand what worked, what didn't, and most importantly, why. That's the fuel that makes your next attempt better. And if you're wondering what real commitment to that third step looks like, get ready for this. The person who inspired this explainer revealed that he spends 2.5 hours every single day just analyzing his YouTube analytics. Not producing, not publishing, learning. That is the work that drives real improvement. And as you're creating, here's the ultimate BS detector, the absolute gut check. See, your mom will like everything you do. Your friends will probably be supportive. But a total stranger on the internet, they owe you nothing. So before you hit publish, you have to ask yourself this brutally honest question. Is this genuinely valuable to someone who has no idea who I am? If the answer is yes, you're on the right track.
You know, we've talked a lot about work and business strategies here, but these principles, especially this idea of signal versus noise, they go so much deeper than just how we manage our to-do lists. They're really about how we manage our lives.
The speaker shared this really personal story about his dog Pablo, who was very sick after being his best friend for 10 years. And watching his old pal find this immense, pure joy in something as simple as a plastic water bottle, it was this constant, powerful reminder of what the true signal in life actually is. It's often not the complicated problems we spend all our time chasing, but the simple joys that are sitting right in front of us. And so that's the question I want to leave you with as we wrap this up. When you strip away all the noise, all the emails, the deadlines, the expectations from other people, what is the non-negotiable, most important signal that you need to be focusing on? Because answering that question, that's the real key to productivity, and honestly, to a life well lived.